Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Denise, and on this channel I talk all about minimalism and intentional living. For today's video, we're talking all about some simple ways that you can live below your means in order to save money. Number one is to make a budget and stick to it. Now, I know you've heard this one before. This is not new information whatsoever, but it is easier said than done. Now, obviously, how can you expect to save money and live within your means or below your means if you don't have a plan and you really are kind of blind to where your money is going? You may think that you're saving money just because you're minimizing your spending, but honestly, I feel like a lot of us just forget or don't really pay attention to little things that may add up over time and may be really killing your budget. So just make a budget. If you have to write it on a piece of paper, if you want to do it like on a spreadsheet, there's plenty of templates online. Pick what works for you. Honestly, I'm not very strict about my own personal budget, but I am strict on at least creating one and having like a baseline to go off of. Now, if I'm off a little bit, it's not the end of the world, and I don't think it should be for you either, but I think it's really important to just have a baseline and try to stick to it best you can, because I'm all about having a plan. Otherwise, how can you expect to succeed if you don't have a plan to begin with? Number two is to incorporate more beans into your meal planning and incorporate more plant-based meals as well. This is really going to help you save money because meat is expensive and you don't really have to eat it every single day. I know maybe this might take some getting used to, but I personally love bulking up my meals with some plant-based proteins such as beans, lentils, things like that. Especially in the winter time, like it's great to just make a pot of soup and add like chickpeas, lentils, and it really stretches out your meal and helps it go a long way, especially if you have a bigger family, if you have kids. I don't have kids, it's just me and my husband, but this is a great way to just stretch out your meals while still getting some protein in. It doesn't always have to be meat, and incorporating like a meatless Monday or just even bulking up your meals with plant-based protein can help you stretch out your meals a lot more and keep you from going back to the grocery store and buying more and more meat, which can really hike up your grocery bill. And number three is to drive a used car. I feel like this one really isn't that difficult. I know there are some people out there that feel better if they just buy like a brand new car because they think it's going to now last them a longer time. I just don't see how that can be the case. Like maybe you'll get lucky, and yes, but there are still very reliable used cars out there that you don't need to pay top dollar for. I would also highly suggest trying to pay your car in full when you buy it instead of financing if you can at all. And if you do end up financing your car, I just recommend trying to pay it off as soon as possible, just because I think a car payment, not only is it annoying, but you're also probably paying higher interest for that loan, and that money could just be better used elsewhere. And it's still a car that's going to get you from point A to point B, and really that's all you need, especially if you're trying to live below your means. Buying a used car is really the way to go. And number four is to not spend money that you do not have. So don't be racking up your credit card if you don't have the money in your checking account to pay it off if you needed to that day. So don't spend ahead, don't spend money you don't have, because what this is going to do is this is just going to give you this false sense of having money when you really don't have it, and it's going to get you into this habit of putting things on a credit card when you don't know if you're going to actually be getting the income that you will need to then pay it off. Even if you have a steady job, it's not guaranteed that you are going to have that job still a month from now. Like, I'm not saying I want that to happen, obviously not. And the likelihood is that you're not going to lose your job, but it does happen. Things do happen, so it's better to just be prepared and don't spend money that you don't have on a credit card. It's just as simple as that. And number 6 is to try to purchase secondhand as much as possible. This includes things like clothing items, household items, vehicles, like I mentioned before, just anything that you can get secondhand. It's likely going to serve the same purpose as if you had purchased it brand new. So my rule is to always look for an item secondhand first, and then after you look for a little bit, if you can't find it and you need it, then go ahead and purchase it brand new. Obviously, if it's something that can wait, then I would just hold off and wait until you find that item secondhand. This is going to save you tons of money, also give new life to an item that was already out there instead of purchasing it directly from a retailer. And number 7 is to limit eating out. Like I've mentioned before, typically my husband and I eat out 1 to 2 times per month. That's really something that's been working for us and helping us to save money. You can save tons of money by cooking meals at home, and this is also probably going to be a lot healthier for you. So just get into the habit, even if it's just like simple meals or you're meal planning, meal prepping ahead, making freezer meals, things like that, if that's helpful to you. If you like cooking and you like cooking something fresh every day, then that's obviously another option. But usually the people that are eating out more often than not are probably people that are either too busy to make meals at home or just don't really enjoy the process of cooking. So this is where meal planning and meal prepping can really come in handy. And number 8 is to just romanticize the little moments in your life so you don't feel the need to splurge or buy expensive experiences or items. For example, I love to romanticize my slow mornings at home. I love to make a cup of coffee and just open up the window, let the sunshine in, make like a really delicious breakfast at home, and just enjoy little moments like that. Maybe a walk in the park, sitting outside, soaking up some sun, or a nice romantic dinner at home can be just as nice as going somewhere out to eat. So just romanticizing and really cherishing those little moments that are truly inexpensive but also priceless can really just help you appreciate what you have and limit your splurging on unnecessary items. And this one kind of ties into number 9, which is to go on free dates with your spouse or partner. So like I said, walks in the park, a picnic at the park, or recently my husband and I have loved just playing some tennis outside at the park as well, or even here out in our apartment complex because they do have a tennis court. So just things like that can be just as fun as, you know, paying to go do a certain activity. Personally, I find the free things more enjoyable because now I don't feel like this pressure of I have to now enjoy this thing because I paid for it. Even though like maybe sometimes I'm just over it and I just want to go home. Personally, I find that the free activities are always more enjoyable. And number 10 is to limit your alcohol intake. Number 1, it's not healthy for you. And number 2, you are really going to save a ton of money by just drinking less alcohol. I'm not saying you have to cut it out altogether. That's up to you to decide. But even just limiting it a little bit will save you a ton of money. And number 11 is to maintain your items and possessions. Like, for example, maintenance on your car, repairing clothing and shoes at home or cleaning them. Just really taking the time to take care of your possessions will help them last so much longer, hopefully. At least that's the idea. That way you don't have to repurchase something more often and spend money that way. So for example, this can be like an oil change on your car, or even just, you know, if you have, for example, leather shoes, taking care of those shoes and protecting them and conditioning them, things like that. If you have high quality clothing pieces, you know, taking the time to go take them to the dry cleaner or washing them correctly so they don't get ruined, because the point of having these higher quality pieces is to make them last. So really take the time to take care of your possessions and keep them working as they should. Number 12 is to just cut your cable subscription. Is cable even a thing? Do people still pay for that? I know I personally grew up without cable, and I've never had cable as an adult either. Like, I just have my few subscriptions that I have, and I watch movies and shows that way, but I've never had cable in my life, and I just don't understand why people still do to this day. It's just one less expense that is completely unnecessary that you can just cut and save money. Number 13 is to reduce disposable items. So this can be like paper plates, napkins, cups, or any type of single-use item. The more you can cut these out of your lifestyle, the more money you are going to save. And number 14 is to plan your meals in order to reduce food waste. So just like creating a budget, I think it's just as important to create like a meal plan or some sort of grocery list based on meals that you have in mind. Again, I'm not saying this has to be perfect, but just having like a general idea of what kind of items you want to get for the week or for the month, depending on how you like to shop. I think this can be really helpful in reducing food waste instead of just blindly going to the grocery store and just purchasing whatever looks or sounds good at the moment. Because what this is going to lead to, it's going to lead to you purchasing a lot of things that are just going to sit in your fridge and potentially rot or expire. And this is really what we're trying to avoid, because you're going to be wasting money and food, and that's not good. So really just have some general meal plan, or even just like 3 meals in your head that you want to shop for the week. That is going to greatly reduce your food waste and save you money in the long run. And number 15 is to just use your dryer less, especially now that the warmer months are finally right around the corner, it seems. Hang your clothes out to dry and let them dry naturally instead of putting them in the dryer. Not only is this going to be good for your clothing items and help them to last a longer time, but it's also likely going to reduce your utility bill and save you some money. All right, guys, so those were 14 tips to live below your means. Let me know if you practice any of these things already in your life, or if you have any other tips that you would like to share down in the comments below. Maybe I will incorporate them into my life as well in order to save some money. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.